Russian forces shelled Ukraine's second-largest city on Monday, rocking a residential neighborhood, and closed in on the capital Kyiv in a 40-mile convoy of hundreds of tanks and other vehicles as talks aimed at stopping the fighting yielded only on agreement to keep talking. The country's embattled president said the stepped-up shelling was aimed at forcing him into concessions. I believe Russia is trying to put pressure on Ukraine with this simple method, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said late Monday in a video address. He did not offer details of the hours-long talks that took place earlier, but said that Kyiv was not prepared to make concessions when one side is hitting each other with rocket artillery. Amid ever-growing international condemnation, Russia found itself increasingly isolated 5 days into its invasion, while also facing unexpectedly fierce resistance on the ground in Ukraine and economic havoc at home. For the second day in a row, the Kremlin raised the specter of nuclear war, announcing that its nuclear-capable intercontinental ballistic missiles, submarines, and long-range bombers had all been put on high alert following President Vladimir Putin's order over the weekend. Stepping up his rhetoric, Putin denounced the US and its allies as an empire of lies. Meanwhile, an embattled Ukraine moved to solidify its ties to the West by applying to join the European Union, a largely symbolic move for now, but one that is unlikely to sit well with Putin, who has long accused the US of trying to pull Ukraine out of Moscow's orbit. A top Putin aide and head of the Russian delegation, Vladimir Medinsky, said that the first talks between the two sides since the invasion lasted nearly 5 hours and that the envoys found certain points on which common positions could be foreseen. He said they agreed to continue the discussions in the coming days. As the talks along the Belarusian border wrapped up, several blasts could be heard in Kyiv and Russian troops advanced onto the city of nearly 3 million. The vast convoy of armored vehicles, tanks, artillery and support vehicles was 17 miles from the center of the city and stretched for about 40 miles according to satellite imagery from Maxar Technologies. The Maxar photos also showed deployments of ground forces and ground attack helicopter units in southern Belarus. More than 70 Ukrainian soldiers were killed after Russian artillery hit a military base in Oktyabrsky, a city between Kharkiv and Kyiv, the head of the region wrote on Telegram. Dmytro Zivitsky posted photographs of the charred shell of a 4-story building and rescuers searching rubble. In a later Facebook post, he said many Russian soldiers and some local residents also were killed during the fighting on Sunday. The report could not immediately be confirmed. Australia will provide Ukraine with $50 million in missile, ammunition and other military hardware to fight Russian invaders. Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison on Tuesday elaborated on his country's plans after revealing a day earlier that his government would provide Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky with lethal military equipment. Morrison promised only non-lethal military equipment last week. News Desk Kaumudy Global.